Hi, this video is to fetch mails from Graph API server through PKCE type of connection. So for this, we need client ID, tenant ID, redirect URI, and username. And here we have one user, that is dev.test. We'll use this user, and let's create tenant ID and client ID through app registration. So we'll click on app registration first, then we'll click on new registration, and we will name this app registration as test and delete one. So let's click and then we will have to create this redirect URI. We have to add as in our field here we have this redirect URI. So first we will copy this client ID and tenant ID. We'll use this here. So client ID and tenant ID, that's fine. Here we have to use this redirect URI, and same one we will have to add here in this add redirect URI. Add a platform while in desktop operation, then Control V, configure, and that's done. And we know our username is dev.test at the rate automation anywhere.store. So let's first we'll try with just connection. So we'll save it and run. We'll select dev.test and its password is so fine. Accept. We have got verification code here and it's established, connection established, it's working fine. So let's now enable this. We'll select here Outlook 1, and in message box, yeah, we'll use to fetch emails. We are fetching mail now. We'll select dictionary and that's fine. Create, enable both, and we'll print here email details, email subject. That's fine. Here we are closing. So now if you see, we have created our app registration and got client ID and tenant ID. Also, we have set up redirect URI. And if you're coming to app permission, we have only user.read. That's fine. So let's try to read mails. We will get some error and we will have to add required other permissions. So we will see. So if it's going to line 2, it means connection established, and from line 2 we are going to fetch mails, but we are getting some error that access is denied, check credentials. So our credentials is fine, no problem is there. And here we need to add permissions to read mails from graph server. So now let's add this permissions. So we'll click on this add a permission. Here we'll select Microsoft Graph, and since we are using PKCE type of authentication, so here we only need delegated permissions. Application permission is not required. Application permission will required in case of client credential type of connection. So here, since we are using PKCE, so we will use delegated permission. So let's click on this, and here we have multiple permissions we have since we are reading mails. So we'll search for mails. Okay, so for mails, let's scroll down to mail section. Here we have, and for this we should select that is mail.read and mail send. That these are two for fetching and sending mails. So that should work fine. So let's add and refresh. That's fine. So now again if we run, we should get some error that access is denied again. So for delegated type of permissions, we should add. It should be some grant is required from admin user. So we'll see. So still its access is denied. So that's fine. We will grant the app for reading mails. So we have one user, that is dev.test. We'll log in with its admin user and grant the permissions. So let's log in with the, okay, for this we have to firstly sign out, or let's log in with Office Dev 365 user, which is admin in our case, and its password is, yeah. So we'll have to go first app password, then we'll have to search for the the app app password, that is we'll search with client ID. So let's see. So we'll select all app, client ID. Here we have created our app registrations, that is taste and delete one. So let's come to grant section. Yeah, API permissions. And from here we have to just grant admin consent for app registrations. Yes. So granted for admission for automation. That's fine. Let's refresh it here also. Yeah. Now we should be able to fetch mails. So let's run this bot. We'll select our user, that is dev.test. So now we are able to fetch mail from the dev.test mail account. Here we have these are the mails we have. So yeah, we have got 1, 2, 3. That's fine. So our application is working fine, and we are able to fetch mails from the server. So in conclusion, if you see, we have just created an app password, app registration, and then added only redirect URI, and added these two permissions, that is mail.redirect and mail.send. And the third action we have took to grant these permissions through admin admin user account. In our case, it is Office 365.